Alright, now we're going to talk about, what is it, quadratic functions. Now, quadratic function is basically when you have x to the second power, or x squared. So right here, y equals x squared. This is what we call a quadratic function. And also, it's also known as a parabola. Parabola looks something like this, or sometimes it goes down like that. Okay, so let's sketch a graph. Okay, so let's say y is equal to 3x squared. Alright, we want to roughly sketch this parabola. Alright, so we can plug in points. So let's try x and y in the table. So let's start with 0. So 3 times 0 is 0. So we have 1 point. Okay, let's try 1. Alright, so if we have 1, right over there, this is going to be 3 times 1 squared, which is 3. So 1, say 3 is right here. Alright, and let's say we plug in 2. So it's going to be 3 times 2 squared. So that's 2 squared is 4, so 3 times 4, which is 12. So if we go to 2, 12 is like all the way up here. Okay, now what if we plug in -1 and -2? Well, you'll find out because any negative number squared is positive. So we get 3 for -1 and 12 for -2. So what you'll notice about parabola is that for the left and the right side, they're both what we call symmetric. Okay, so they're mirror images of each other. So we have 3 and 12. Alright, so if you draw this parabola, it looks something like this. And when it's all symmetric, I'm saying that, like, you know, this figure right here is just a mirror image of this right here. That's called symmetry. And it's symmetric by the y-axis. Okay, let's try one more. So we have y is equal to -1/2 x squared. Okay, so if we plug in 0 for x, we get 0. Now there's one thing to note here. If you have a negative sign in front of the parabola, the x squared, what happens to the parabola, instead of opening up like this, you know, kind of like that, what happens is that it opens downward, kind of like this, okay? So, I'll show you what I mean. So let's plug in 1 and -1, okay? So if we plug in 1 here, we get -1/2, right, for both sides. Alright, and if we plug in 2 for plug it in 2 and -2, alright, it's gonna be 2 squared, which is 4. So it's 4 divided by -2, which is -2, well, for both sides. So what ends up happening is that the parabola opens up downward. So if you have a negative, it opens up downward. If it's positive, it opens up upward.